next. Some of the most heartwarming moments of the year.
But you know what? It's a go-getter, man.
Yes. So grab a tissue.
Oh my gosh!
Better make it a box.
Oh no.
And come along.
It doesn't matter what house you're in, but it's what you do inside the house that makes it your home.
As we journey to Pacific Storyland. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Katherine Cook. It's my pleasure to bring you Pacific Storyland, a series featuring uplifting and inspiring stories from right here in the Northwest. Over the next half hour, we'll revisit some of our favorites. Let's start on the Oregon coast. That's where nearly 70 years ago, a teen mother was forced to give up her baby boy. KGW photographer Kurt Austin and I take you to their unforgettable family reunion.
Along the Oregon coast, what sparkles on the sand one minute is washed away the next. Like the outgoing tide, time
69 years, 7 months, and a few days.
slips away here. A place where many family secrets
No one would talk about it.
have vanished with the tide. Like a 15-year-old girl, pregnant and unmarried in 1953.
The family was shamed if anything like that was to happen.
But on this day in Newport,
I love you, Mom.
the tide
So here I am.
has returned.
It's been a while coming.
85-year-old Betty Lorsung is about to meet her oldest son
You're fine.
for the first time.
You're fine.
My mother.
For Jeffrey Taylor,
69 years I've been away. I'm a boomerang.
Go for it.
it's a snapshot from a lifelong journey.
So happy.
First time I was told I was adopted was about 3 years old.
Back to the birth mom
Oh, yes.
I'm just waiting for the biggest hug there ever were.
who wasn't allowed to keep him.
69 years worth of hugs wrapped into one.
I'm so happy. This is the greatest day of my life.
A doorway to the past
Yes.
Oh yes, I'm so ready.
and the future.
Oh my gosh!
Oh no. I'm home.
You're home. I'm so happy.
Yep. I made it.
I'm so happy.
Best day of my life.
I made it.
I'm
You found me.
It's a far cry from the day Betty's parents learned she was pregnant with Jeffrey.
Oh my God.
They lived in Coos Bay and were terrified of anyone finding out. They tried to hide the pregnancy, even from Betty's brother.
All of a sudden, my sister Betty was gone. They said, "Where'd she go?" They said, "She went to live with your aunt in Portland. She has rheumatic fever."
She had
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Yep.
The hospital staff would not let her hold him.
you were such a little baby. I got to see you in the hospital through the window, but I
hate
had
to
to
say
beg
it,
and
but-
beg to do that.
I hate
Betty never saw Jeffrey again. She returned home to her family and moved on. She got married and had 6 more kids.
Yeah, we were the Brady Bunch, literally, in California in the 70s. Volkswagen bus, going to the beach. We were the Brady Bunch. And we left her at the beach. They left me at the beach.
Betty left them all in the dark about Jeffrey until she couldn't. History, it turns out, sometimes repeats itself. It did with Betty's daughter, Lucy.
I had a young daughter. I had a daughter when I was 15. Her name's Christina. I kept her. I love her. I actually have 3 daughters. But I found out when I had my daughter that my mom had to give her son up for adoption. It's very overwhelming.
The revelation shaped Lucy's decision,
Yes.
and it drove her family to search for Jeffrey.
My sisters have tried before with my mother and didn't get anywhere.
That was me when I was little.
Yes.
Jeffrey doesn't have old family photos,
Good-looking girl.
but the pictures in his mind are clear.
Had a wonderful childhood. Wonderful.
And yet, he always dreamed of meeting his birth mom, even more so since his adoptive parents passed away.
And I looked for about 15 years. could not get anywhere. I'd run into dead end after dead end after dead end.
The biggest challenge was an old Oregon law. The state required adult adoptees to get a court order to unseal adoption documents. In 2014, that law changed. Now all you need is a personal ID to join a mutual consent registry. Jeffrey's family used that resource and social media to finally find Jeffrey.
We were both playing detectives. It was a journey, but it was totally worth it.
This is awesome.
Which brings us here to Newport.
I can't imagine going on and never knowing. It was really terrible.
Betty flew out from Missouri,
So happy.
Yep.
and Jeffrey drove up from California.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that he's in our family.
The rest of the family came from all over the country.
And I love knowing that my mom's heart is whole now, because that really hurt, knowing that she didn't have her baby.
I made it. I'm home.
A true family reunion.
Yep. You found me.
And
Thank you.
a family secret
Thank you. 69 years.
that's secret
I got a family.
no more.
I love it.
In Newport,
It's so good.
Katherine Cook,
I got a family.
KGW News.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
I told you to have your tissue ready. Our next story came to us, as so many do, from an email. A viewer with a personal story wondering if we'd be interested in sharing it while expressing doubt. There's so much going on, they say, you couldn't possibly have time. We hear that a lot. But we also say yes a lot. In this case, photographer Nick Bieber and I said yes to an accordion studio.
They say practice makes perfect,
It's okay. There you go.
but no one likes cliches, especially accordion players.
Like it's a nerdy instrument. But you know what? It's a go-getter, man. It's like, you know, some of the nicest, happiest people I've seen are accordion players.
Diane Hagen might as well be an accordion. Her joy for this instrument began before she was even born, thanks to her mom.
I think it was because I was in her stomach for 9 months and she was teaching.
Eileen Hagen opened this Northeast Portland studio in 1961, though she started teaching when she was 17.
She was kind and she just loved people and people loved her.
Her name is still on the sign, but the studio belongs to Diane now.
Because I love to see people happy. It makes people happy. I love to play and make them happy.
Diane's been doing just that since she was 2.5 years old. That's when she started playing the accordion.
I'm 3. I'm Diane.
As a toddler, Diane performed on local TV shows.
Here is 3-year-old Diane Hagen to sing and play.
One of the shows starred a clown named Rusty Nails. Rusty, wouldn't you know it, was the inspiration for Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons.
My mom has somehow got me on TV with him.
Surely, if these walls could talk, they'd probably just play the accordion.
It's such a historical place. When I first walked in, it was like, blew my mind.
Last summer, Russ Johnson decided he wanted to learn the accordion. He found Diane, and the rest is history. His own.
I wanted to do something to carry on my dad's legacy. He meant a lot to me. Yeah, he was a truck driver for 45 years, and my dad was a very simple man. But the accordion is hard to play, and he did it.
Russ's dad passed away in June. This was his accordion. As Russ learns to play it, photos like this one come to life.
Sits at my desk, and I always give it a kiss to my dad. Practice.
Those feelings are not lost on Diane. Her mom passed 3 years ago, though dementia stole her away long before that.
I had grieved her for years before she passed, and so when she did, it's like I was kind of ready for that, and it lifted everything off of me.
Now, when Diane plays, she can hear her mom, again.
Yeah, she's always in my heart. She's like right here with me. It's like I feel her. Yeah, it's amazing.
Somewhere in heaven, there's a choir backed by 2 new accordionists.
Yeah.
Both awfully proud of their kids.
Very. Accordion changes lives. That's what I tell her.
Start there.
Back here on Earth, you still gotta practice. And while it may not make perfect,
Yes.
Better?
it doesn't get much better
Okay.
than this.
One of the things we love about bringing you Pacific Storyland is the chance to discover our community through your stories. All the history that connects us in surprising ways. That's certainly true of our next story. Photographer Corey Long and I bring you the tale of 2 houses and 1 love.
Sally Tappinen and David Faraday share a lot of history.
She knows Kelly O'Connor.
Yeah. Both went to Lincoln High School.
Look at those legs. Dang. I was like lean, mean.
In the 80s.
I'm still mean, just not lean.
Still lean and mean. Both had been married before.
I thought I was sort of, the last chapter of my life had been written.
Then found love again.
I remember thinking, love is never going to happen for me.
And both were raised on the same foundation. Really.
These were old houses.
Identical homes.
And they had the same footprint, the same outside.
Built 6 miles apart.
And it's just so funny that we ended up together. Like it was so meant to be.
Sally grew up in this house in Northeast Portland's Irvington neighborhood.
I took the bus, 2 buses, the 9 that went downtown and another bus to get up to Lincoln.
It was during that morning routine that Sally first noticed her house had a twin. Back in the 80s, TriMet used to print photos of historic homes on their bus passes.
I got my bus pass and we're looking and I'm thinking, that house looks an awful lot like my house. And I'm like across the street looking at the house going.
It was the Bennis house in Southwest Portland near Washington Park. David and his family lived here. Architect John Bennis designed the house and lived here first in 1911. A year later, Bennis built the house that Sally grew up in. Not far from there, another Portland icon, the historic Hollywood Theater, which Bennis also designed.
He was quite the architect.
David would know. He's also an architect. So were his parents, who were thrilled to learn of the twin houses. The families arranged to tour each other's homes. Sally remembers.
My parents said, oh, they have 2 sons at Lincoln. I was like, okay, you know.
In high school, Sally and David ran in different circles.
I knew of him. I always thought he was handsome.
But that was about it, until 25 years later, and this chance reunion with David through mutual friends.
And at the end of the night, somebody said, let's all toast to being a single parent. And I raised my glass, and David's like, what?
Oh, why didn't anyone tell me?
After that, one date is all it took.
I looked at him, he looked at me, and it was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, we both knew.
Most couples don't bring up their past. These guys,
we did. We talked about the house a lot.
Couldn't wait.
We talk about, which family member was in what room.
We had the same bedroom growing up.
There was this big old furnace in the basement.
And when you turned it on, it clanked, clunk, clank, clank.
Yeah, if I had friends over, it freaked them out.
In 2015, Sally and David got married, excited to build their own home together. They didn't plan for what happened next.
A year after we got married, David came down with stage 3 cancer.
It was colon cancer. David had just turned 50 and hadn't wanted to get screened.
Basically, I'll deal with it later, and it goes away. Luckily, Sally's like, you got to get this.
At first, doctors thought the cancer had spread to David's liver. The news was grim.
So for about 2 weeks, I thought I had maybe just a few years to live.
I just thought it was so unfair because I'd finally found my person, and I was like, there's no way you're taking my person away from me.
Then doctors learned David had a fighting chance, and fight he did.
But it was a year of chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, more surgery.
Today, David is cancer-free.
This is all just bonus, you know, the rest of my life. You know, when you're, sorry, it gets emotional because you've made peace, you know, with that being the end of your life, you know, and so yeah, it changes your attitude.
It's hard not to look back on history and marvel at what we've learned.
It doesn't matter what house you're in, but it's what you do inside the house that makes it your home.
The blueprints we tried to follow.
You know, you can plan your life, and then, but just, it's so much of it's luck.
The foundations we build that give way.
She was my rock.
To something stronger. It all leads us down a path we never could have planned.
If our journey through Pacific Storyland has taught us one thing, it's this. There are a lot of good people in the world. People who share their time, talent, and heart to make their community better for others. In our final stop tonight, photographer Corey Long and I take you to the ice rink, where the Portland Winterhawks are making life better for a very special fan, while he does the same for them.
In this fast-paced world, we strive for order. When we can't keep up,
you're going faster than me today, come on.
We smile through it. And the days that take so much out of us we feel empty sometimes fill us with the most joy.
Oh, I think we're missing one.
Life is indeed a paradox. Just ask Monty Sherling.
There's good days, there's bad days, like we all have. Yeah. You know.
Monty's son, 17-year-old Ben, was born with Down syndrome.
Go slow and in control, right?
He means the world to him.
Just the impression that he can leave on the ones. If people are willing to take time and take the opportunity, it's there. And
the Portland Winterhawks.
Hey, buddy. Yeah. Let's go.
Are taking that opportunity.
You're gonna hang them up, right?
Yep.
Twice a month, head equipment manager Clayton Johns helps Ben.
There you go, attaboy.
Help him.
Good job.
I think the biggest thing I've learned from Ben is just, to have some patience. He might take a different path to getting to the same end result that I would get there, but he still gets the job done.
What's up, Ben? How's it going?
For the players, Ben helps keep things in perspective.
He always says have fun out there, and I think that's something that sometimes gets lost when you're playing at this level is fun.
Sometimes some of us will be having a bad day, and that's hard to talk about sometimes, but just a simple fist bump or a nice chat with Ben or whoever it may be, it lightens up our day.
He's part of our family.
Assistant coach Brian Pellerin relies on Ben for the things only he can teach the team.
Everybody needs different voices sometimes to get the message that what hockey's about, and more importantly, what life is about.
And sometimes life opens doors when you step out in courage. Like on this night last May. It was the first night Ben met the team.
I was super nervous for him, but he got out there and he sang well.
He gained a lot of respect from all of our team.
For him to get up there, I think that takes a lot of courage, and I think all of us, really noticed that, and I think we all just kind of took that as motivation, and we really wanted to dedicate the game to Ben.
The Winterhawks won that night.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah! Coach Mike Johnston knew just how to celebrate.
Hey guys, I told Ben, I thought after that anthem, we had to get him down here if we won the game, so I grabbed him right after the game. He did an outstanding job.
Yeah. They really cheered for him, and it just spoke to me on how inclusive the organization and how accepting they were, and they had every reason to be cheering for their win, but they chose to take time out to cheer for him.
Sure, they won the game, but this is why they'll remember it.
And that's where the kind of relationship started.
Earlier this season, after a 9-game losing streak, the Winterhawks once again called on Ben to sing the national anthem. The Hawks won.
When he sings the national anthem, we haven't lost yet, so we might have to bring him back for the playoffs again this year.
It makes your heart feel big.
I'm Nick Beefbill, happy dude.
It makes a lot of sense for a paradox. Sometimes it's good to put your dreams on ice.
That's what it means to be a team. There were too many stories to fit into this special, but they're all waiting for you to watch on kgw.com and our Pacific Storyland YouTube channel. That's where you'll meet the Gresham gardener growing hundreds of tomato plants just to give them away. And you'll learn the secret to a Canby couple's 75-year marriage. Here's a peek.
Oh, she was a sweet girlfriend, and I hadn't found out any of her faults yet when we were young. And so I don't know how to answer that.
Oh, you're going to be in big trouble tonight.
Do you like cherry tomatoes?
Yeah, we love cherry.
This gets 10 foot tall.
I think it's very special that he chooses to spend his time doing this.
Other than that. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, have a good day. You too.
It makes people happy to see the people come by and get the free plants, and they're happy. And they said they want to pay me, and I said, no, I don't need it. I do it for the fun. I don't want to be paid.
For each of these special stories, there are countless others just waiting to be told, and we want to hear about them. If you have an idea for Pacific Storyland, just drop us a line. You can email pacific-storyland@kgw.com or text us your ideas to 503-226-5088. For everyone here at KGW, I'm Katherine Cook. Thank you for watching.